But if they go ahead and allow that tornadic part of the warning to expire, then we'll obviously get you back to programming and take care of the severe thunderstorm warnings unless we feel like those storms are producing 80-mile-per-hour winds or something real significant where we would need to keep people updated. But right now, again, this is north of Crockett near Grapeland. I'm going to go ahead and put the traditional radar back on here, overlaid. You can see a ton of lightning with this too, by the way. Just intense lightning. And by the way, the rainfall rates are going to be pretty high. Let's see, can we? Yeah, so here are the rainfall rates, by the way. This is like if you were to sit underneath this storm, here's how much rain you would get in an hour. We're seeing some rates close to 3 inches per hour, and that is going to be a distinct possibility. Now, again, the storm's moving, so you may not be under it for an hour, but if you were, that's how heavy the rainfall is in these particular locations at this time. So again, these are water loaded. There's a lot of moisture and energy in the atmosphere, and that is a distinct possibility. So let's zoom in now. Let me look at the velocity data once again, because it looks like there's kind of multiple areas of rotation, which makes this a little bit more difficult to predict. So here was the one we were watching earlier. That is now east of Grapeland, now FM 228. And then looks like maybe a little bit of rotation even back behind that. I'm not as concerned about that because this right here probably took away a lot of the energy for this. And again, the radars that are scanning this for us now are hitting this really high up in the atmosphere, probably about 5,000 to 10,000 feet. So we don't maybe have the best data right now in terms of sampling the lowest levels of the storm, and that's just being honest. So some of this stuff you have to take with a grain of salt, understanding what's taking place ahead of this or further upstream versus downstream. So again, I still think the main threat will be along FM 228 here in the next few minutes, but we're nearing that time where we could certainly see a new warning come down if they decide to extend it. And it would probably be for northeastern Houston counties. We'd start getting into the Priscilla and Augusta areas being involved here, even Weeches. You can see as we zoom in here, you got Augusta, Weeches are not in the warning. If we got a new one extended further downstream, then these areas would be in the new polygon coming up shortly. So let's go ahead and throw another storm track on here. I know for those of you that have hopped on here maybe in the past few minutes, you're probably going, well, where's this storm going to go? So here we go. So there we go. Sunset Church, 608. Right now, Refuge, 611. The Brewington Church, 614. Augusta, 618. And Glover Church, 620. So again, these are estimated times for that rotation part of the storm, moving east-northeast at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So try to do this every so often because we have, this storm is moving. So we're going to get new data in, and the more better data we get, the better we can give you on these estimated arrival times. Okay, so there we are. Not a lot looks like has changed with the storm. Just look at the lightning, though, and that is pretty intense. Grapeland, Latexo, you are hearing a lot of booming going on right now. There's no question about that. In fact, if we look at the lightning, just look at the lightning. We take the radar off, do a little counter here, just in Houston County. 500 lightning strikes in the past half hour. That's a lot of lightning strikes. And you see negative and positive here. Most lightning strikes tend to be negative, but the fact we're getting a lot of positives tells you about the updraft strength, meaning the atmosphere is unstable. Those are the loud, roaring, booming lightning strikes that lead to the thunder because the lightning originates from the top of the cloud and not the bottom. Traditionally, it's the bottom cloud to the ground, the return stroke, what we see and what we typically get. But when these updrafts get to be so fast and the atmosphere is unstable and these cloud tops get up to 50, 60,000 feet, sometimes that lightning can originate near the top of the cloud, higher up. And that's what creates the rolling thunder, the window shaking that goes on, because it's very intense and creates the most boisterous thunder we have out there. So that's why I try to show positive strikes. It's mainly for me to be able to interpret whether a storm may be strengthening or weakening, but it's still something to look at. And again, all this is staying north of Crockett, between Latexo and Grapeland right now. And the way things are looking, those of you in Latexo may just get a glancing blow. Because if you look at the storm and how it's evolved in the past hour, you'll notice it's kind of moving more northeast than east at this point. So Latexo, you will certainly get in on some rain, but the most intense, severe part of the storm with the lightning and the hail may actually miss you on the north side of town. Grapeland, you're getting in on the heavy storm activity right now, with, again, some rotation and a possible tornado to go along with this. So no new update on that part of the storm. Let's see. So Henderson's reporting pea-size hail with that severe thunderstorm warning there. So that's not surprising. So some few reports there. And again, we're not getting a lot out of that Houston County storm. Here we go. Okay, so we got a brand new warning that just came out. And you can see the warning here, the new polygon. I'm going to go ahead and stop the radar loop. The new polygon, I'm going to go ahead and take off, just display the warnings. So we have two that are overlapping, but I will say the new one is the one extending further downstream here, and that is going to be right here. This goes until 7 o'clock this evening. So the rotation is still located near Grapeland, or 12 miles northwest of Crockett, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. So again, if you're in Priscilla, Augusta, Weeches, and Mound City, you are in the path of this possible tornado. So again, we talked about this earlier. If you were in Augusta, Weeches, Priscilla, those areas there in northern Houston County, you were not in this initial warning, but the new one that just came out further downstream, you are now in this one right here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw it, because you can see this first red line, that was the initial one. And if you've noticed now, we've got a new one that is basically right here. So that now encompasses, again, FM 227 East, Augusta, Weeches. Is Priscilla in there? I think so. No, Priscilla's right. Okay, just back to the northwest of Augusta. Okay, so Priscilla's in the original warning. So you two in the refuge and Priscilla areas need to be in your safe place. But now we're extending that warning to include these areas. I will say that Kennard is not in there. Here's Kennard, right down here. We zoom in on there. It's in the center of your screen right here. So this southern extent of the polygon in the new tornado warning is north of there. Okay, and that's to account for the fact that that's where that most intense part of the storm moving through Grapeland now is going to be going here in the next 15 minutes or so. What I'm going to do is take the radar full screen. I'm going to come off. I do need to replace my battery. It's getting ready to die, so I don't want to be talking and not you hear me. So there's going to be some silence for a few seconds. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. We're just going to leave the radar up for you, and I will be back here in just one moment. Stay with us. Okay, folks, we are back. We have a new mic, and so we are in good shape going forward here.
I can't hear you. Wait, never mind, I can.
Yeah, we should be good to go. So yeah, we're back on. Our audio's good. We just had to replace the mic before it went out, so we are in good shape for a while longer. Hopefully we're not on the air for too terribly much longer, but we'll certainly keep you updated. By the way, since we've got it on the traditional radar view here, let's see. Obviously, so far, all the active tornado warnings have been in Houston County. And what we have now is another tornado warning for the southern part of Houston County. So Crockett is now in this new warning, and we also have Lovelady and Ostonio and some other areas, Weldon and Mapleton and Vistula in the new warning. So my goodness, we've got multiple warnings here in Houston County. So let me go ahead and show you the new warning. So those of you now in Crockett, let me go ahead and bring up our original template so you can see me again. There we go. Those of you in Crockett and Lovelady, you are in this newest tornado warning, okay? So if you've noticed, we've had there's two clusters of storms here that are rotating. We've got the one that's now in northern Houston County that has Priscilla, Augusta, Refuge in these areas here in Weeches. And again, that warning goes until 7 o'clock. So again, that's from the Grapeland storm that we've been tracking now for about the past 45 minutes. So now let me take you to the newest warning that just came down. Same county, just a different location altogether. And that is going to be down here in southern Houston County, Crockett, Porter Springs, Lovelady, areas along State Highway 19 all the way down to FM 1280 West are in this one, even including the Weldon and Mapleton, Vistula areas. And this warning, we put on the information for you here. This will go until 7 o'clock as well. So we've basically got 45 minutes on both of these warnings. I think the northern part might be out of Houston County before then. But we are watching the intense part of this storm anyway move into southern Houston County. And if you'll notice here, there's a pretty good hail core getting ready to move into Porter Springs, and also looks like areas right along Highway 21 near Ostonio. If we zoom in here, yep, Ostonio, there you are. There's Mapleton to the south. So Mapleton, Ostonio, you're getting ready to get in on some pretty good hail. That purple shade of color you see near Ash, that's pretty good hail core that we're seeing right there. And wow, look at that. The past few minutes, we've seen the hail size blossom out over 2 inches in diameter, which is over golf ball size. So in addition to a tornado warning, there's going to be some large hail in that hail core and then associated with the main part of the storm. So that too is another reason why hopefully your vehicle's under cover and you're taking cover yourself. Let me go over here now to the storm relative velocity. It looks like, let's see, southwest of Ostonio. So yeah, this rotation here is right. The reason why this storm is being warned on it for a possible tornado is because of what we're seeing right here. And this rotation is southwest of Ostonio. It's right in this area here. And again, it's just to the west of Highway 21. So again, if you're in the Mapleton, Vistula areas, you need to be in your safe place right now. Ostonio, the same thing, because the rotation is just lurking to your west. It's right here. And again, we don't know if it's confirmed or not. This is just strictly radar indicated, just like the previous warning that we had for the northern part of Houston County just a short time ago. Here's Highway 21. I will draw that in for you right here. A lot of you make that trip from Crockett, say down towards Madisonville, and you go through the southwest part. That's this right here. So again, the circulation is moving east-northeast. So again, for those of you in Mapleton, Vistula, and even Ostonio, this is going to be a pretty close call for you guys, which means you need to be in your safe place at this time. So what I'm going to do now is draw a brand new storm track on here for this new warning. let's see. Let's do this right here. I want to get Crockett in here too. Okay. So here are estimated arrival times with this part of the storm. And this is important here because this is for, again, the southern part of this storm complex that has more rotation with it. This is Mapleton 624, Vistula Church 626 for when the possible tornado could be in these areas. Porter Springs at 637, Lovelady at 644, the Pearson Chapel School 644, the Center Grove School 649, and Crockett. Okay, for those of you in Crockett, you need to be in your safe place too. We're looking at an estimated arrival time of 6:50, which is about 30 minutes from now. I might even move that up a few minutes too, based on how fast the storm is moving. But again, these are estimated arrival times. So some of you have more time than others. Obviously, if you're in Vistula, Mapleton, Weldon, anywhere along on that Highway 21 corridor, you need to be in your safe place now because this rotating storm is going to be right on top of you momentarily. For those of you in Porter Springs, Lovelady, Crockett, you have a little bit more time to maneuver there. In other words, you've got a little more lead time to get to your safe place, but you certainly need to be getting there because you are included within that area of rotation. Let's see, no storm reports yet consolidated within that. Let me go ahead and take off the lightning. So again, we have two warnings, and so look at that hail core. Wow, that is impressive. And again, I'm going to go ahead and do a 1 hour loop just to show you what we've been tracking. So basically, if you look, the northern part of this segment, which is going through Grapeland, that has one tornado warning on it. Then we have this other one here coming across the Trinity River and getting ready to cross over Highway 21. That too has a hail core, and that too has rotation. So again, it's kind of a double 1-2 punch. And maybe throw damaging winds for a third punch, because even if you don't get a tornado, there could be some pretty good winds making their way down to the surface out of these storms. So something to keep in mind there. And again, everything you can see is moving east. So for those of you in Alto, Pollock, Kennard, Lufkin, anywhere near the Natchez River, keep a watchful eye to the sky, folks. Stay weather alert, because again, these storms are moving in that general vicinity here, as you can see over the past hour or so. Kind of east-northeast at around 35 to 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to let this loop for a second. I think I'm going to let this loop for just 1 second here. I'm going to check to see if I've gotten any messages on any kind of storm reports coming in. And I don't see anything directly coming in on my message board. But at any rate, we'll keep a watchful eye on that. Trying to multitask as best we can here. That is for sure. Okay, so nothing there. I'm looking at the chat. There's no new information on there. And again, what makes this a little difficult is we got many rural parts of East Texas. And so because of the density of the pine trees, we're talking the Davy Crockett National Forest here. Again, this is all going to be rain wrapped. You're not going to see it coming. And that's what makes it ultra difficult. Okay. No new information on that storm. Let me turn over here. We are getting reports of damage, by the way, in Mount Enterprise, some power poles being down, and that's for this part of the storm. I told you the severe storms that are making their way through Rusk County and pushing into Panola, northern Shelby County. And then we've got more storms here. Again, the ones in Houston counties are the ones we're really watching closely here because those are the ones that are packing the biggest punch in terms of hail and a tornadic threat. So again, if you're in Alto, Kennard, over toward the Neches River, you need to really keep your guard up here over the next hour or two. If you're out running groceries or errands, may want to give your loved one or your neighbor a call, let them know, hey, you might want to get back because I would not want to be caught with these multicellular storms moving east-northeast, knowing the hail potential, the damaging wind threat, and again, the maybe remote possibility we get an isolated tornado out of this. So we go back to our velocity scans. And again, there's the broad rotation that we're looking at on the southern part of the storm that's being warned on. It's right around Ash, okay? And again, here's Highway 21. You got Mapleton, Ostonio, Vistula's lurking nearby here too. So this is moving kind of east-northeast. So again, I think it's going to look like stay north of Mapleton, and Ostonio will be a close call. Porter Springs, I would definitely keep my guard up. Maybe it passes just to your south, but it'll be a close call. So based on where that rotation is right there, I would go ahead and say that, yeah, I would watch that pretty closely. No question about that. So again, I have circled right here where the rotation is. And again, it'll probably be crossing over Highway 21 within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. But again, Ostonio, Mapleton, Porter Springs, Crockett. I know you still have about probably 20 minutes until that were to get to your area, but you're in that polygon. Remember, we got to respect the polygons. Lovelady is in it too. Now, Lovelady, if I were you, I would certainly get there, but I wouldn't be in as big of a rush because I do think it looks like a lot of this is going to probably stay just north of you if I'm going to be and just doing some logical analysis here. But again, Crockett, you need to be in your safe place because this is generally heading in your direction, and it will probably be intersecting that Highway 721 interchange right outside of town on the west side of town within the next 15 minutes or so as this rotation comes into your area here. So you can see how quickly things are moving at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. And again, you can see that that little couplet or that rotation kind of moving east-northeast. And again, it looks like it's headed right for Highway 21 here within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Let's see. Turn that off. So while we're at this, let's go back to the northern part of this storm. I'm seeing a couple different things here. Northeast of Grapeland, yeah. So basically, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So the rotation with this storm is just northeast of Grapeland now, over FM 228. So I want to go back to this part of the tornado warning. Again, we've got two separate tornado warnings, folks, for Houston County. And maybe the best way to do this is to take everything off. We're just going to wipe away the radar for a second. We've got two big red polygons. One of them is for the northern part of Houston County. That's this one here. It includes Grapeland, Priscilla, Augusta, Refuge, and over to Weeches. See that? So as we extend things, just to give your bearings on what we are looking at here, all right? Taking the clutter out. And then we've got a separate warning for basically Latexo, Crockett, and south towards Lovelady. Two separate warnings, both set to expire in 30 minutes at 7 o'clock. So having said that, here's the rotation with the why this storm has a tornado warning. And you can see it's a pretty good couplet right now too. Right along FM, looks like that's FM 228. So if you are in Priscilla, you folks, my friends, need to be in your safe place. That is a windowless interior room on the lowest floor of your home or business. You need to be there now. This is a pretty good little couplet coming into play here. Basically where the red meets the green, that means we've got rotation that's pretty noteworthy. Green colors, by the way, mean the winds at that level that the radar scanning the atmosphere are flowing towards the radar. Red is away from the radar. And so we've got some pretty good inflow coming in is what this means. And so that is why we need to take this seriously. So again, this is going to be just to the northeast of Grapeland on FM 228, moving towards Priscilla. I'm going to see if I can get this to loop. And you can see it's going pretty quickly there. This is a last 30-minute interval. Let's go back an hour because I want to see I want you guys to be able to see this pretty good. So there it is. This is 1 hour loop, and you can see how it's been tracking along, basically through Grapeland or the north side of Grapeland, and now lifting off to the north and east. So again, this is going right for Priscilla. Those of you that live in Mound City, you need to be in your safe place as well. And since we are on this here and we have a good couplet, I'm going to put on a brand new storm track because I think that's going to be ultra important. So Priscilla 6:33, that will be there in a matter of moments, just a couple minutes from now. Augusta 6:39, we're not talking Augusta National where they had the Masters a couple weeks ago. This is Augusta, Texas in northern Houston County. The Male and Female Academy at about the same time. Coppers Branch School 6:43, Glover School 6:46, and Waichus at 6:48. Estimated arrival times, not for the, and again, this is not for when the storm will get to you. This is when the rotation, the possible tornadic part of the storm will be in your area. That's what we're concerned about, right? But obviously you need to be in your safe place now because you're probably getting the lightning and thunder, heavy rain. In fact, if we go back to this, look at that. Mound City, Refuge, Augusta, you're getting in on some heavy rain and thunder and lightning. And I'm going to go ahead and take that off so you can see the radar from a traditional viewpoint. And again, let me do this for you here because this is just very important that we understand the difference. Rotation is right in here, right now. Like where that circle is, that's where the rotating part of the thunderstorm is. But look at all the rain and the heavy rain and maybe some hail embedded in there that's taking place. So you're not going to see this thing coming, my friends. If it does drop a tornado, you will not see it. So don't go outside and look out the window and think you're going to see it because you're just not. One, it's moving very quickly, but also it's rain-wrapped. We call these rain-wrapped tornadoes. So if we do have one on the ground, you're not going to see it. It's going to be hidden within all the trees out there. And again, the visibility is not going to be great. So that's why you just need to go to your safe place, do it. Just wait it out, crank the volume up on our streaming services, whether it be the First Alert Weather mobile app, your Roku device, Amazon Fire, the live stream on our KTRE website, which is ktre.com/live, or you can just turn the volume up on your TV set if you have us on cable and satellite or an over-the-air antenna. You've got a few options, but we still want you to be in your safe place while you can still hear us or watch us. You can take those things in there with you, but we want you to be in there if you're in Priscilla, Refuge, Augusta, and Waichus, because again, that circulation, as he just showed you, is right where I made the circle, and it's right in here right now. So that's why we show you the velocity data, folks, because it doesn't always match up with what you see on radar. Probably right in here right now. Getting ready to move into Priscilla, FM 2. Is that 228 north? Let me make sure I got the right road. Anybody that lives there needs to be there. Yeah, FM 228, which runs into Priscilla out of Grapeland. you need to be in your storm shelter too. And same thing for those of you in Refuge, although I do think it may bypass you slightly to the north. Yep, you can see it. Refuge, it looks like it's just north of you. And this is going right into Priscilla up towards Mound City and will intersect FM 2022 north as well. So again, FM 2022 north, by the way, is right here. I'll draw it on there, going up into Priscilla, and then that takes you up into Mound City. FM 20 or 228 is right here. So we're going to get that intersection right in the town of Priscilla here very quickly, and probably from Priscilla up north to Mound City along FM 2022 north. That's where I think the biggest threat's going to be with that part of the storm. So hopefully you've taken account that. In the meantime, right now, I need to go back to the other part of the tornado warning, which is, again, moving through Ostonio, Mapleton, and Vistula. Look at all that lightning. So it is very intense. Crockett, you are getting in on some rain. Lovelady, it looks like you're getting some rain as well, pretty heavy rain. But the intense part of the storm is still lurking back off to your west. And again, we've got rotation right now. Let's see. Just looks like, yeah. Which radar? Okay, here we go. Shreveport. So here we go. Yeah. This what? No. There we go. So that's the better velocity view. Try to look at our different radars, by the way. If you notice the data changes, we're trying to pull it from the best, closest radar source that we have. This right here looks like it's over Porter Springs right in here. That's the rotation with this tornado warned storm. And again, I can't emphasize enough. If you know anybody along Highway 21 west of Crockett or Highway 7 west of Crockett, keep in mind they interchange right here. You know, if you ever make that commute in, they merge, and then you hit the west loop of Crockett very quickly. You need to call them and tell them to get off the roads. They need to get into a safe place. Maybe there's a sturdy building nearby, because again, this circulation is moving right towards Highway 21 and 7 and could possibly impact Crockett here within the next few minutes. So again, if you're in Crockett, Porter Springs, you need to be in your safe place right now with what we have coming into town. So again, there's the loop in Crockett. And again, I'll tell you what we're going to do too. We have our ruler. Let's draw the distance. So right now, this is about 7 miles or so just southwest of Crockett. And that's 7 miles from the west loop, right there where 7 meets 21 and you hit the loop. And you can take a right, you go by Crockett High School. So right now that circulation is 7 miles away. So if it's moving at 35 miles an hour, that'll probably put it there in about 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes from now. So again, if you're in Crockett and you're watching us or listening to us right now, go ahead and get into your safe place. In fact, we'll do a new storm track here too for this tornado warning storm. So here we go. This storm track for the tornado warning from Crockett points south. The Pearson Chapel School 645, Crockett at 650. So again, that's about 12 minutes. Notice we have our timestamp there on our map here. 6:38 is the current time, by the way, on this Sunday evening. So Crockett, that's 12 minutes from right now. The Davy Crockett Memorial Park is the same time. East Texas Medical Center in Crockett, 6:52 for you guys at the medical facility. Houston County Airport, 6:54, and Druso Depot, 6:57. So I'm going to leave that up there for a second. So if you know of anybody in those areas or you live near them, the estimated arrival times are going to be pretty similar to what you're seeing on your screen right there. And again, that's for a possible tornado that's right now near Porter Springs, moving northeast at about 35 to 40 miles per hour, and will be intersecting that Highway 721 corridor, or that interchange right there as you enter the west loop of Crockett. That's what we're concerned about with this particular path. So again, Crockett 650, that's about 10 minutes from right now. I would say if you're on the west loop or west side of Crockett, it's probably going to be a little closer to 647. So you have about probably 8 minutes or so from right now. And for those of you on the east side of Crockett, it's probably going to be a few minutes later than that. So 650 is kind of the average, and that's probably right where downtown's located in the centralmost part of the city. We have gotten confirmation that there has been some golf ball size hail reported in Ostonio per somebody with the volunteer fire department, and that was a short time ago. So want to thank them for that report. And that's coming from the National Weather Service in Houston. Volunteer fire department reported golf ball size hail in Ostonio. So yes, we've got a lot of things to track here right now. Let's go ahead and look at that hail. My goodness, look at that. Wow. And again, this is radar indicated. It may not be exactly, but we're talking 3-inch diameter hail, 2.8. That's the size of baseball size hail. So when you start getting into those orange colors, you can see Austonia 1.4, 1.5. That's almost the size of golf balls with our hail tracker. So that's pretty significant. So yes, in addition to that hail core, which let's see if we can do that. Yeah, it's not as pronounced right now, which is good, but certainly hail is still certainly possible. But it looks like it was a little bit larger just on the other side of the Trinity River. Okay, some good news, my friends. Oh, wow. Let's see. So the tornado warning here for northern Houston County has been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's good news. So for those of you from Grapeland up towards the Priscilla, Augusta areas, there's still a little rotation, I think, because we haven't had any reports of anything, and it's very elevated. They decided to drop the warning, so that's good news. So for those of you in Augusta, I might still stay in my safe place, but at least for the time being, we and by the way, I'm seeing reports of a large wedge tornado on the ground just south of Madisonville. I know that's out of our area, but that is certainly noteworthy because that storm has a tornado warning on that as well. So right now there's reports of a large tornado just south of Madisonville. So if you know of anybody traveling I-45 or perhaps Highway 21 into Madisonville, you may want to give them a call. I'm seeing some of these pictures, and again, nothing's been confirmed yet, but it looks like a pretty large wedge tornado on the ground in those areas right now. So as of now, as we come up on just about 6:45, I want to loop the radar because I want to show you we've had some strong winds move through Rusk County up into Panola County right now, and we've got more moving now into Houston and Cherokee counties. So we'll see how this evolves in the next couple hours, but it is going to get pretty stormy here this evening for many of us in Deep East Texas. And the key thing is, how does all this evolve with time? When you have these clusters, sometimes these storms merge. They can create their own rotation and their own pockets of hail. But we'll see how things play out. But right now, the only active tornado warning we have was the most recent one issued for Crockett, Lovelady, and areas in the southern portions of central and southern portions of Houston County. So let's go back to the radar indicator here. And again, looks like we've got some rotation there. Again, maybe multiple areas. Right around Porter Springs and maybe a little bit too up here on the northwest side of Crockett. So my word of advice is if you live in Crockett, Latexo, anywhere along the Highway 21, Highway 7 interchange, you need to be in your safe place right now. And you're probably asking, well, Brad, what's your safe place? Well, let's talk about it for a second. So if you live in a, let's say, just a traditional home, if you have a basement or storm cellar, obviously that's going to be number one. But because of the soils that we have here in Texas, we don't have a lot of basements, right? Because of flooding issues, the clay, we don't have grounds and soil moisture content that's conducive for storm shelter. So the bottom line is most of us are going to want to get into a windowless interior room on the lowest floor of your home or business, and that's going to look something like you see here. If you took the top off a roof, we're talking an interior closet, a hallway, a bathroom, just anything that doesn't have windows in it, because the whole point of this is you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you do that, that gives you your best chance for protection against flying debris, which is really what we're trying to protect ourselves from, right? With tornado is just all the debris that's coming with these strong winds, right? We're talking 2x4s, branches, anything that is outdoors that's picked up, right? I mean, it's shooting through the air, right? Like it's just being launched like projectiles. So that's why you want to get into that center basement or center part of your home, wherever that may be. It could be a closet, again, a bathroom, or even a hallway. And so what we often see is if a tornado hits a house, the areas that are held intact most of the time, right? Meaning if the house makes it or parts of it do, it's that center part of the home. Always is. It's better anchored. There's a solid foundation there, and that's going to give you the best support when you put those walls between you and the outside, right? It's like more added protection. So for those of you in Crockett, in Porter Springs areas and over towards just west of town, you need to be, again, in your safe place as we speak with that tornado warning for you. I'm going to go ahead and take off the storm tracks and lightning. So here's the traditional radar. And again, when you look at this, it's hard to know exactly where the tornado is. There's the polygon showing the warning. And again, we want to show you this because we haven't showed it in a while. That goes until 7 o'clock. So we've got 13 more minutes to go on this possible tornado nearing the Crockett area at this time. And if we go back to our storm relative velocity, there it is. I mean, it's not well defined, but there's still some rotation showing up here. Kind of on the west-southwest side of Crockett, right along Highway 21 right now, it looks like. There could be some strong winds, nevertheless, moving through there. And again, that rotation is going to be right in here. See that? So we're talking just a few miles south of Crockett now. If you're watching us from Crockett, I'm going to put the measuring tool on here. So from where the rotation is, we're talking about 3 miles from the southwest part of the loop there, and probably 5 miles to downtown, and 6 miles to the northeast side of town. So again, from entering town, it's about 3 miles away at this time. And that means about 5 minutes away, too. That 5M means minutes based on 40 mile per hour with the winds moving in that direction. So based on the ruler here, that's 3 miles from the loop, which means it would put it there in 5 minutes, assuming it's moving at 40 miles per hour. So again, for those of you in Crockett, remain in your safe place. It'd be nice if we did have some visual tower cams to look at, but we don't. So we're just going to have to go by taking our safe precautions and hoping for the best, and hopefully that is the case. But again, we have not had any visual confirmation of any kind of tornado touchdown. This has all been radar indicated so far this afternoon. And so we want to let you know that. So we haven't had any reports of damage, which is great news, and hopefully it stays that way. But we still have to respect the polygon and respect the warning until it expires, because we just don't know if that mid-level rotation is exactly making it all the way to the ground. So let's go ahead and put on another storm track here for you.
A tornado watch has been issued for your location.
So Pearson Chapel School 649, Crockett 655, East Texas Medical Center 656. So about another 6 or 7 minutes for you. The Douglas School 703 and the Glover School at 711. All right, let me check a couple of messages here real quick, because I want to make sure that that we get those, that I'm not missing anything on that front. So I may not talk as much here for just a second, but I just want to check everything. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on that Houston County storm right now. Let's see. Okay, so nothing there. I'm looking for some updates here, see if we've got anything. Okay. Okay, so the tornado warning here will remain in effect until 7. It looks like south of Crockett. Okay. Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? It almost like, yeah, it's almost like there's another circulation now developing southwest of Crockett. Like this one came through and weakened a little bit, and now we've got more. Miles south of Crockett. Let's see. Let me see something real quick here. Yeah, boy, it is certainly messy to see some of these features. Not the best conditions with all this rain going on. Yeah, look, it's got the point now. The velocity data is not a huge help at this point because we're so far removed from the radars hitting these cloud tops at about 10,000 feet. I will say that, so we've got a little rotation in this cell here moving through Crockett. There's another one here northwest of Lovelady getting ready to cross Highway 19. So this is very challenging because we're getting multiple pockets of rotation based on the storm relative velocity data. And so, and these can form quickly and change with each scan coming in. but that's why the tornado warning. So I'm just going to say it now. If you're in Crockett, if you're on Highway 19 down to Lovelady, and then basically within this red polygon, which if I just take everything off, so that is Cut, Fordyce, Crockett, just east of town on Highway 7, and even up Highway 21. If you're anywhere within this red polygon, which is the only tornado warning we have in East Texas right now that goes until 7, you just need to be in your safe place. Because what's happening is we're getting multiple vortices popping up on the velocity data. It changes from scan to scan. It's not like we have one storm with a hook echo and there's inflow and we can easily determine if something is happening. Sometimes that's the case. Now, those are bad news situations because it probably means you have a tornado, but for us, it's at least easier for us to track. In this case here, we have a lot of rain wrapping around these vortices, and so they're in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Whether or not they're making it to the ground, we don't know, but we have multiple ones. So what I'm telling you is if you live within that red polygon, you still need to be in your safe place, at least for a few more minutes until we get an update on the warning position. So this warning will expire at 7. Whether or not we get a new one reissued further downstream and extended in time, we don't know that answer just yet, but we should know here within the next couple of minutes. Okay, so here's the deal. We do have an update, and it's good news. So right now, the Weather Service in Houston is planning on replacing the tornado warning with the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible on the Houston County storm at the top of the hour.